go. Fuck it. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having an amazing, amazing day. I had a pretty average day. Was it Wednesday? I gotta buy a bus ticket out of here. Gotta get the hell out of here. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about my next destination, though. So I'll have a good friend there before he abandons me and goes to Colombia. So last night we talked about a couple topics, which I'll make into videos. Did they discover that you are a serial killer? That show Dexter keeps popping up. Dexter was about serial killers. So I've been watching a lot of that stuff. It's kind of funny how that happens. Like, cool shows from the mid-2000s keep randomly popping up. Hello, Lee. Hello, Bea. Tom, Topspin. Where are you headed? We're going south of Sweden, Helsingborg, Malmo area. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's near Copenhagen. So it's kind of cool. You can actually just take the train. It's a 35-minute train to Copenhagen, and you're in a whole other world, whole other country, new language, all that. So I think that's cool. And I was already in Copenhagen this year, but we'll get to see it in the summer when it's at its peak. It's peak month. Yeah, so what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about why the news is depressing. And to I think why cheap dates are more expensive. I mean, why cheap dates are better than more expensive dates, which is actually true. And then why women betray each other more. So I don't think we'll do any more woman topics today. Starting a little earlier than usual. I think it's 4:00 New York time. So this would be good when I'm in Colombia in September. I'll be back on the same wavelength as everyone. I'm gonna go to Medellin. It's gonna be fun. All right, so let's get to talking. I have 2 topics to talk about today. The first one is why young men are choosing black pill despair. It's going to be a doomer one. If you don't know what the black pill is basically you're giving up. You're giving up on life. You think the cards are stacked against you, and you say, nah, I'm done. You throw in the towel. It's like a ring fight. You just throw in the towel. I'm done. So it's an interesting topic because I feel black-pilled about a lot of things. I'm sure many people are black-pilled about the current state of the world right now. With the chaos, should be safer too, says Bea. What, Medellin? Medellin is not safe. Colombia is not a safe country. It's probably one of the most dangerous. It's probably is the most dangerous country I've been to by far. But I never got robbed there because I don't go outside that much. That's the key for Latin America. Just don't go outside and take a taxi everywhere. But even the taxi might rob you. You never know. Bam Margera went to Cartagena and he got his taxi from the airport to his hotel robbed him. Which is kind of funny. Bam Margera. Where's Jill, my number 1 fan? Okay, let's get into this. Let me see how much data I have. How are we on data? We're good. Okay. Wearing my black shirt for the black pill video. Gotta dress the part. Okay. An entire generation of young men is giving up on life before they even started living. They've convinced themselves that success is impossible, relationships are hopeless, and effort is pointless. They call it being black-pilled, and it's spreading like a virus through online communities. But this isn't just internet philosophy. It's a mental health crisis disguised as intellectual honesty. What's up, everyone? I'm Peter Wins, and today we're talking about why millions of young men are choosing despair over hope, and why black pill thinking has become the default worldview for an entire generation. This isn't about politics or culture wars. This is about understanding why so many young men feel like the game is rigged, why they're walking away from traditional paths to success, and why they're choosing nihilism over trying. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's driving this epidemic of despair, why it's spreading so rapidly, and what you can actually do and what actually can be done to help young men break free from this mental prison, the black pill. First, let's define what we're actually talking about. Black pill thinking is the belief that success in life, especially with relationships, career, and social status, is predetermined by factors you can't control. According to the black pill philosophy, your genetics, your appearance, your family background, and your natural talents determine everything. If you weren't born with the right advantages, effort is mostly pointless because the game is rigged against you. In relationships, black pill thinking says that attraction is purely biological and unchangeable. If you're not naturally attractive, you'll never have a genuine romantic success no matter what you do. In career and money, it says that success comes from luck, connections, and circumstances, not hard work or skill development. In social status, it claims that charisma and popularity are innate traits that can't be learned or improved. The black pill isn't just pessimism, it's the belief that individual agency is largely an illusion, and that most people are deluding themselves when they think effort leads to results. God damn, I'm getting like fucking notifications. My brother talking about the Stanley Cup. I don't care about that. We got to talk about the black pill. Sorry. There we go. For young men who feel like they're failing at life, this philosophy offers a seductive explanation. It's not your fault. The system is designed for you to fail, and there's nothing you can do about it. Young men today are facing challenges that previous generations never had to deal with, creating perfect conditions for black pill thinking to take root. The dating market has been completely transformed by apps and social media. Women have access to seemingly unlimited options, which makes average men feel invisible and replaceable. The top 20% of men get most of the attention, leaving the majority feeling like they can't compete. Economic opportunities have shrunk while expectations have increased. Previous generations could support families with high school educations. Now you need a college degree to get an entry-level job that might not even pay enough to afford your own apartment. Social media creates constant comparison to highlight reels. Young men see other guys appearing to live perfect lives, traveling the world, dating beautiful women, building successful businesses, while they're struggling with basic adult milestones. Traditional masculine roles have been dismantled without clear replacements. Being a provider, protector, or leader are no longer socially valued or economically viable for most men, but there's no clear alternative path to feeling valuable and respected. The job market rewards social and emotional skills that many men just weren't taught, while devaluing physical strength and technical skills that men traditionally excelled at. Mental health problems are increasing, but seeking help is still seen as a weakness in male culture. So young men suffer in silence while consuming content that reinforces their worst fears about themselves. Black pill communities online have been gathering places for young men who feel left behind by society, but instead of offering solutions, they reinforce hopelessness. These communities provide a sense of belonging for guys who feel rejected everywhere else. Finally, there are people who understand their struggles and validate their feelings of being overlooked and undervalued. But the price of belonging is accepting the core black pill beliefs that improvement is impossible, that successful people are just genetically lucky, and that trying is a waste of time. These communities become competitive about who has it worse. Members try to prove that they're more hopeless than others, creating a race to the bottom, where any sign of optimism or effort is seen as being naive or just coping. They develop elaborate theories about why success is impossible, complete with statistics, studies, and scientific explanations that make giving up seem intellectually sophisticated. New members who might still have hope get bombarded with evidence that their situation is hopeless. Success stories are dismissed, get that out of here, as outliers or lies. Any suggestion that things can improve is met with hostility. The communities become self-fulfilling prophecies. Members stop trying, which confirms their beliefs that trying doesn't work, which reinforces the community's core message that effort is pointless. Black pill thinking is appealing because it offers psychological relief from the pressure to succeed and the pain of repeated failure. If success is predetermined by genetics and luck, then failure isn't your fault. You can stop feeling guilty about not achieving your goals because achievement was never really possible anyway. It eliminates the anxiety of trying. If effort doesn't matter, you don't have to face the possibility of working hard and still failing. If you avoid the vulnerability that comes with genuine effort, it doesn't feel as bad. It provides intellectual superiority. Black pill believers think they see reality more clearly than optimistic people who are deluding themselves. This creates a sense of being smarter and more enlightened than the masses. It excuses inaction. Why improve yourself, take risks, or pursue goals when you know that outcomes are predetermined? Black pill thinking becomes a sophisticated justification for giving up. It creates community through shared suffering instead of bonding over shared goals or achievements. Black pill communities bond over shared hopelessness and resentment. The problem is that this psychological relief comes at a cost of actually improving your life. If you feel better about failing, but you also guarantee continued failure by not trying. The most tragic aspect of black pill thinking is how it creates the exact outcomes it predicts. When you believe that relationships are impossible, you stop trying to improve your social skills, your appearance, or your personality. You become bitter, resentful, which makes you genuinely unattractive to potential partners. When you believe that career success is based on luck, you stop developing skills, building networks, or pursuing opportunities. You become exactly the kind of person who doesn't succeed professionally. When you believe that improvement is impossible, you stop exercising, you stop learning or working on yourself. You become exactly as hopeless as believed you were. Black pill thinking doesn't just predict failure. It causes failure by convincing people to stop doing the things that could lead to success. Young men who might have eventually found success through persistence and self-improvement instead lock themselves into patterns of inaction that guarantee the outcomes they fear most. The most cruel irony that is that any of these guys have real potential, but black pill communities convince them to waste it by telling them it doesn't matter anyway, bro. It's over for you, bro. You're never going to make it. Black pill thinking is often a symptom of underlying depression, anxiety, and trauma that isn't being addressed. Many young men turn to black pill communities after experiencing rejection, failure, or bullying that damage their self-esteem. Instead of processing these experiences healthily, they find communities that tell them that their pain proves the world is hopeless. Depression makes everything seem more difficult and less rewarding, which makes black pill explanations seem more plausible. When you're depressed, effort really does feel pointless because depression destroys motivation and enjoyment. Social anxiety makes social interactions feel impossible, which reinforces beliefs that charisma and social success are more purely genetic rather than learnable skills. Untreated ADHD, autism, or other neurodivergent conditions can make social and professional success more challenging, leading to repeated failures that seem to convince black pill theories. Childhood trauma, absent fathers, or dysfunctional family dynamics can create attachment issues that make healthy relationships seem impossible. Instead of addressing these underlying mental health issues, black pill communities provide explanations that make young men feel like therapy, medication, or personal development won't help because their problems are supposedly genetic and unchangeable. I'm kind of not really for medication and therapy myself, by the way, either. I think the internet has all the resources you need. You don't need some guy telling you what to do. You got me now, okay? Save some money and just listen to me, and no medication. Just eat healthy. Save you. How much does the therapist cost? A couple $100? What a scam. Social media has created an environment where young men constantly compare themselves to impossible standards, making the black pill thinking seem logical. They see successful entrepreneurs, attractive couples, and wealthy lifestyles online and assume this represents normal success rather than exceptional outcomes being amplified by some algorithm. They compare their internal struggles to other people's external success, not realizing that everyone faces challenges that aren't visible on social media. They see pickup artists, fitness influencers, and business gurus selling impossible transformations, then feel like failures when they can't achieve the same results in the same time frames. The algorithm feeds them content designed to trigger engagement through envy and inadequacy, creating a distorted view of what normal life and normal progress actually looks like. They develop unrealistic expectations about how quickly success should come, then interpret normal timelines for improvement as evidence that improvement just doesn't work. Doesn't work, bro. It's only been 2 months and I'm not a rich billionaire yet. What the hell, bro? Instead of comparing themselves to where they were last year, they compare themselves to highlight reels of people who may have spent decades building their success. Some black pill concerns about economic opportunities are actually valid, which makes the philosophy more convincing and harder to dismiss. Housing costs, education expenses, wage stagnation have made traditional milestones like home ownership and family formation much more difficult for young men than for previous generations. The gig economy and job security have made stable career paths less predictable, which can make success feel more random and luck-based. College degrees are more expensive but less valuable, creating debt without guaranteeing good job prospects. Social media and dating apps have created winner-take-all dynamics in relationships where a small percentage of men get most of the attention. These real structural problems make black pill explanations seem more credible because they contain kernels of truth about genuine challenges. However, the black pill solution of giving up completely is worse than the problem itself. Even in a more difficult economic environment, some people still succeed through adaptation and persistence. So how do we break out of the black pill? You're black pilled, things aren't going well. How do we break you out? The path out of black pill despair requires addressing both the mindset and the underlying issues that create it. First, recognize that black pill thinking is a mental trap. It's in here, not objective reality. The fact that some things are harder doesn't mean all improvement is impossible. Start with small, achievable goals that rebuild confidence in your ability to create positive change. Success breeds success, and small wins can break the cycle of learned helplessness. Address underlying mental health issues through therapy, medication, or support groups. Depression and anxiety make everything seem hopeless, but they're treatable conditions. Now, the biggest one is limit exposure to black pill content and the communities. These environments reinforce hopelessness and make recovery harder. Think the crab in the bucket philosophy. If you try and get out, they try and drag you back down. Instead, find real-world communities focused on improvement rather than online communities focused on complaining. Join clubs, classes, or groups where people are actually working towards their goals. Focus on developing skills and habits rather than just pursuing outcomes. You can control your effort and consistency even when you can't control results. Seek out success stories of people who overcome similar challenges, but be realistic about timelines and explanations. Consider that some black pill concerns about society are indeed valid, but the solution is adaptation and strategic thinking, not surrender. Now, we never surrender, right? Young men don't have to choose between naive optimism and black pill despair. There's a third option, realistic hope combined with action. Acknowledge that the world has real challenges and inequalities without concluding that individual effort is pointless. Understand that success might be harder and take longer than previous generations experienced, but it's still possible with the right approach. Focus on building skills, health, and relationships rather than chasing quick fixes or dramatic transformations. Find meaning in the process of improvement rather than just the outcomes, because the process is what you can control. Connect with other people who are working towards similar goals rather than communities that encourage giving up. The goal isn't to become delusionally optimistic, like, yeah, everything's amazing, because it's not. But maintain hope and agency while being realistic about the challenges. All right, conclusion. Black pill thinking is spreading among young men because it offers simple explanations for complex problems and psychological relief from the pressure to succeed in an increasingly difficult world. But choosing despair over hope and inaction over effort guarantees the exact outcomes that black pill believers fear most. The young men falling into this mental trap aren't weak or stupid. They're responding to real challenges with understandable but ultimately self-defeating beliefs. If you recognize black pill thinking in yourself or someone you care about, remember that it's a symptom of deeper issues that can be addressed with the right support and approach. The world needs young men who are willing to keep trying, keep improving, and keep building despite the obstacles. Don't let black pill communities convince you to waste your potential. If this video helped you understand black pill thinking or gave you hope for a different path, let me know in the comments. Share your thoughts on what's driving this epidemic of despair among young men. Subscribe for more content about mental health, personal development, and building resilience in these challenging times. And remember, your potential isn't determined by your starting point. I'm Peter Wins. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. And stop recording. All right, who else came in? So that's the black pill. Let's see. Hey, Tori Dane, still here? Oh, Denmark? Yeah, Denmark's safe. I agree that attraction is 100% biological. People are attracted to either looks, personality, or intelligence, and all of those things are biological. Well, that's kind of blackpilling. Hello, Tasso. Hello, Jen. Hello, Daniel. Daniel, you from Malmo by chance? You been to Malmo? You been to Malmo or Lund? Is he still here? Let's see. Okay, that's everyone. Hello, Zorp. Schnoz gang. Yeah, I got a big nose. Do you have a big nose, Zorp? Well, thank God I'm not a woman, right? The nose thing with a woman is brutal. At least I'm a dude, you know, and big nose on a dude is like, it's not completely over. It's like whatever. If I was a woman, I'd have to go to freaking Istanbul or Medellin. They get all the girls do nose jobs. They all do boob jobs in Medellin. Everyone. See how long that was. That was 20 minutes. Damn. Also guaranteed. All right. 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm shooting for like 12 minutes in these videos. Maybe I talk too slow. I don't know. But you want to do over 10 minutes so you can put in more YouTube ads. That's why all YouTuber videos are over 10 minutes. Because they're trying to hit the mark on that. All right. We can do this one next. Not why social media comments are so toxic. Dude, social media comments are extremely toxic. Like, as soon as, like, we become anonymous, humans just become, like, the worst people ever. Like, 4chan, just crazy. Like, when people become anonymous, it almost shows you, like, the dark side of human emotion. Just, it's all about, like, sex and power and scamming people, making, like, it's just, like, the worst when anonymity becomes involved. But when you're not anonymous and you have your identity and your face somewhere, you're all, everyone's real smiley and corporate-y. Well, I think those black pill absolutes are Cash Jordan level. I do agree with most of that to a large degree. Well, Cash Jordan is cashing in on the... He's cashing in on there's a lot of hate for the cities in the U.S. There's a lot of hate. They say New York, Los Angeles, those places are so fucked up. They're just hells on earth. And when they see those places bashed in a YouTube video, it makes them happy because they think, thank God I don't live there. Those dumb liberals ruining the country. Thank God I don't live there. That was good, Peter. You put some real thought and time into that. Well, I think those black pill absolutes are Cash Jordan. It's true, Peter. I think that's showing people who really are inside. Well, it's true. It's mostly like social media is like destroying people. No, I haven't visited them in IRL. Really? Damn. Yeah, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm like bored of this city, honestly. So Malmo's down here, so it's like the southern tip. It's like the southern tip. It's right here. Yeah, it's really close to Copenhagen. I think that's cool, so I think I'm going to try it out here. Hopefully there's not too many immigrants. Malmo has a reputation as being like the most dangerous city in Europe or something, which I think I had a friend, my friend who's in Helsingborg, walk through it, and he said like it wasn't that bad in the center. Like there's still white people, but I'm gonna go see it for myself before I commit to like an apartment. Because if it's looking really rough, I probably won't live there. If there's like too many immigrants and there's crime and it looks all fucked up, I won't go there. Copenhagen, not too many immigrants. There's like some, but like Denmark actually is the hardest country in the EU to like emigrate to. It's the hardest to like get a job, get citizenship. They made it hard. Because Malmo got all these criminals, and think about how easy it is for the criminal to just come across because there's no border control. And of course, the Malmo criminals started like killing people in Copenhagen, and Danish people got all pissed off. So that's how that happened. All right, let me get some water. Fuck, what happened? Shit. Hold on, this is fucked. Hi Peter, why don't you travel to African countries like Sudan or Congo? Because they're fucking shitholes. Sudan or Congo? All those people are trying to leave. Oh, this got fucked up. I have my phone on my camera, so it's all like it's pushing it down. Shit. Yeah. Never go to a country where all the people are trying to leave. You know what I mean? Yeah, my camera. They have roaches. Yeah. They got fucking snakes that'll fucking kill you. Fuck. All right, there we go. That works. Hey, Jill. People are trying to leave Canada. I guess that means I should not visit there. Yeah, Canada sucks. It's cold and it's expensive and there's a billion immigrants. Everyone's angry. I would go to the like when I think of Canada, I actually get happy that I'm American. I'm like, at least I'm not Canadian. UK is not doing too good either. What's up, everybody? All right, let's do one more topic. Let's do a motivational one, I think. I was going to do the why social media comments are toxic. We just did this one, why young men are choosing black pill despair. Which one should we do? Let's do this one. This is about food, actually. So I'm very passionate about food. And we'll do this one. Maybe call it there. Maybe take a break after that. No, I gotta change that one actually. We'll do that one another time. Let's do the psychology of why we love disasters. So we're gonna do this one. It's a good topic. The psychology of why we love disasters. Who doesn't love a good disaster? There's something fucked up about it. You have to watch. But at the end of the day, you're happy. You're just like, yeah, it's not happening to me. It's like, God, thank God that hurricane's not happening to me. I'm all cozy. Got my McDonald's. All right. Shit. Shouldn't have touched that. Fucking disaster. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. I gotta use my phone to read the script. Oh my God. Hold on, I'm gonna switch. Okay. All right, disaster averted. Okay. When disasters strike, people don't just watch the news. They become obsessed. They refresh social media constantly, share dramatic updates, and seem almost excited by the chaos and suffering of others. We're addicted to disasters, both real and manufactured, because they trigger psychological rewards that our brains crave. Human beings are disaster junkies, and most people don't even realize it. What's up, everyone? I'm Peter Wins, and today we're talking about the dark psychological... What's up, everybody? I'm Peter Wins, and today we're talking about the dark psychology behind humanity's obsession with disasters, drama, and other people's suffering, and why we've created an entire entertainment industry built on feeding our addiction to chaos. From natural disasters to celebrity scandals to political crises, humans show a disturbing pattern of being energized and entertained by events that cause pain and destruction for others. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain is wired to enjoy disasters, how modern media exploits this psychological vulnerability, and what this reveals about the darker aspects of human nature that most people prefer to ignore. Our obsession with disasters is rooted in evolutionary psychology. Our ancestors who paid attention to threats and chaos were more likely to survive and reproduce. Humans evolved in small tribal groups where information about disasters, conflicts, and dangers affecting other groups provided crucial survival intelligence about potential threats to avoid. Watching others suffer also provided valuable learning opportunities about what behaviors, decisions, or circumstances led to negative outcomes without having to experience those consequences personally. The brain releases stress hormones and dopamine when they are exposed to traumatic events, creating a biochemical reward cycle that makes disaster consumption literally addictive. This evolutionary programming explains why we can't look away from car accidents, why disaster movies are so popular, and why news outlets lead with tragic stories rather than positive developments. Our brains are still operating on ancient software that treats all dramatic information as potentially life-saving intelligence, even when we're safely watching from thousands of miles away through screens, eating potato chips on the couch. So we're going to talk about something, this is a German word, Schadenfreude. I don't know if I said that right. It means taking pleasure in others' misfortune. Is a fundamental human emotion that disasters trigger on a massive scale. When we see others suffering, it makes us feel better about our own lives by comparison. Our problems seem smaller when you're watching people lose everything in hurricanes or scandals. Disasters also satisfy our need for social comparison by providing clear examples of people who are worse off than others, which boosts our relative status and self-esteem. There's also a justice component when disasters strike. People who we perceive as having been too successful, too wealthy, too fortunate. It seems like cosmic balance being restored. Celebrity scandals are particularly satisfying because they take people who seem to have perfect lives and reveal their flaws and failures, making ordinary people feel less inadequate. This psychological mechanism explains why people often seem more energized by bad news than good news, and why disaster stories spread faster and wider than positive stories on social media. Modern society has created unprecedented access to constant drama and disaster content, leading to psychological addiction cycles that previous generations never experienced. Social media algorithms specifically amplify dramatic, negative, and controversial content because it generates more engagement than positive or neutral information. People develop tolerance to normal levels of drama and require increasingly extreme content to achieve the same emotional stimulation, similar to drug addiction patterns. The constant availability of disaster content through news apps, social media, and streaming devices means most people can maintain their drama addiction 24/7 without interruption. This creates a psychological dependence where people feel anxious and bored when they don't have access to dramatic content, leading them to seek out or create drama in their personal lives. The addiction cycle is reinforced by the social bonding that occurs when people discuss disasters and dramatic events together, making drama consumption a form of social currency. Disaster voyeurism allows people to experience excitement and emotional stimulation while maintaining moral distance from the actual suffering involved. Consuming disaster content through media creates the illusion of caring and engagement while requiring no actual sacrifice, risk, or meaningful action to help those affected. People often perform concern and empathy on social media while actually being entertained by the drama and chaos they're claiming to care about. The geographic and social distance between disaster consumers and disaster victims makes it easier to treat real suffering as entertainment content. Disaster voyeurism also provides opportunities for virtue signaling, where people can demonstrate their moral superiority by addressing the correct emotional response to tragic events. This psychological mechanism explains why people can simultaneously claim to care about suffering while actively seeking out and consuming content that exploits that suffering for entertainment value. Media companies have built entire business models around humanity's psychological addiction to disasters and drama content. News organizations use fear-based reporting and catastrophic framing to capture attention and generate revenue through advertising and our favorite, subscriptions. Reality TV shows create artificial disasters and interpersonal drama because audiences are more engaged by conflict and suffering than by happiness and success. Social media platforms use algorithms that prioritize dramatic content because it generates more comments, more shares, engagement than the positive content. Disaster pornography has become a legitimate entertainment genre where real suffering is packaged and sold as content for mass consumption. The economic incentives of media companies align perfectly with humanity's psychological vulnerabilities, creating systems that profit from amplifying and exploiting human suffering for entertainment. When people don't have enough external disasters to satisfy their psychological needs, they often create drama in their own lives and relationships. Some individuals become drama magnets who consistently find themselves involved in conflicts, crisis, and chaotic situations that provide the emotional stimulation they crave. Others create interpersonal drama through gossip, stirring up conflict between friends, or manufacturing problems in relationships to generate excitement and attention. Social media has made it easier for people to create and broadcast personal drama to wider audiences, turning private conflicts into public entertainment. Drama addiction can become so severe that people sabotage their own success and happiness because stable, peaceful lives feel boring and unstimulating compared to a constant crisis. This pattern explains why some people seem unable to maintain healthy relationships or stable life situations. They're subconsciously addicted to the chaos and emotional intensity that the drama provides. Disasters and dramatic events serve important social bonding functions by giving people shared experiences to discuss and creating in-group solidarity against external threats. Talking about disasters allows people to connect emotionally and demonstrate shared values concerned in tribal affiliations without requiring deep personal vulnerability. Major disasters create temporary communities of concern where strangers can bond over shared emotional responses to these events. Disaster discussion also provides socially acceptable ways to express negative emotions like anger, fear, and sadness that might be inappropriate in other contexts. The social aspect of disaster consumption makes it feel more meaningful and less voyeuristic, allowing people to justify their entertainment consumptions as legitimate social engagement. This bonding function explains why disaster stories dominate social media conversations and why people become upset when others don't show appropriate concern for the distant tragedies they're not actually affected by. All right, let's talk about the psychological costs of all this. Yeah, COVID. Everyone liked talking about COVID because of this shit. It's true. Constant consumption of disaster content creates significant psychological costs that most people can't recognize or acknowledge. Chronic exposure to this traumatic content through media consumption can create symptoms similar to PTSD, including anxiety, depression, hypervigilance about potential threats. Disaster addiction reduces empathy over time as people become desensitized to suffering and require increasing extreme content to achieve emotional stimulation. The constant negative emotional stimulation from disaster consumption interferes with your sleep, relationships, and your overall mental health. Disaster voyeurism also creates learned helplessness and cynicism about the world that can prevent people from taking positive action in their own lives. The time and emotional energy spent consuming disaster content often displaces activities that would actually improve people's lives or help them develop meaningful skills and relationships. Now, how do we break this disaster addiction? How do we do it? Recognizing disaster addiction is the first step towards developing healthier relationships with the dramatic content and negative news. Limit news consumption to specific times and sources rather than allowing constant exposure through social media feeds and news apps that are designed to create addiction. Practice emotional regulation techniques that provide healthy stimulation and excitement without requiring other people's suffering as entertainment. Develop real-world interest in activities that provide genuine meaning and engagement rather than passive consumption of other people's drama. Learn to distinguish between legitimate concern that leads to helpful action versus voyeuristic consumption that serves no purpose except to entertain you. Focus attention on local issues and problems where you can make meaningful action rather than consuming a distant disasters that you can't actually influence. The goal isn't to become callous about genuine suffering, but just develop some healthy boundaries around disaster consumption that will protect your mental health. All right, to conclude, humans are psychologically wired to be fascinated by disasters, drama, and other people's suffering. But modern media has exploited this evolutionary programming to create unhealthy addiction cycles. Understanding why we're drawn to disaster content helps explain why many puzzling aspects of human behavior, from our obsession with negative news to our creation of interpersonal drama, when our lives become too stable. The same psychological mechanisms that helped our ancestors survive in dangerous environments now make us vulnerable to this media manipulation and disaster voyeurism that provides no real benefit to your life. Breaking free from a disaster addiction doesn't mean becoming indifferent to genuine suffering, but it does mean recognizing when your consumption of dramatic content is just way too much. Your attention and emotional energy are more valuable resources that deserve to be invested in activities that actually improve your life and the lives of people around you rather than being consumed by distant dramas you can't influence and have no control over. If this video made you realize how much of your emotional energy goes towards consuming other people's disasters, let me know in the comments. Share your thoughts on disaster voyeurism and drama addiction in modern society. Let me know if you have your own personal story about this topic. Subscribe for more content about human psychology, media manipulation, and the hidden forces that shape our behavior. And remember, just because something captures your attention doesn't mean it deserves it. I'm Peter Wins. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stop recording. Okay. Some interesting stuff with that one. I watch a lot of doomer disaster content. It's true. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel a lot better. All right, let's see the comments. Where was I? Hello, Linda. Hello, Judy. Today was a horrible time for me to choose dissociation from the news. Did something happen? Yeah, there's a lot going on, Linda or Judy. I joined late but became obsessed. Okay. Jill doesn't watch the news. Good. Good stuff. All right. I think I'm going to take a little break. Maybe I'll do one more, but let's see how long that one was. 17 minutes. Okay, a little shorter. 17 versus 20 minutes. Now I got to find some guy to edit these. $20. I got to find some kid. I'm going to be like, hey, kid, you edit this good and the videos do good. We'll create a partnership, you know. Multiple videos a week. We'll spam them out just like this. We're just going to turn them out just like this. We just did 2. We can do one more. Just pump those videos out. And hopefully people like them. Oof. Who we got in here? 21 people. Cool. I think COVID was the biggest one. People just watching COVID stuff all day. Oh, COVID! Destroyed the whole world in those years. Should just turn off the TV. How about RGB pills? We talked about the black pill a little bit today. I do have a red pill article. I guess if you guys want to talk about red pill stuff, I created one about the blue pill, the red pill, the black pill, the white pill, the purple pill. We could do that one next and then call it a day. Let's turn off this light for a sec. Light's killing me. Does anyone have any big summer plans? Any big summer plans? Is anyone going to Disney World or some shit like that? Is anyone going to the Grand Canyon? Is anyone coming to Europe? Coming to visit me? Hold on, I can't find my milk. What the fuck? And cut. Right you are. Right you are. Milk go. No. I'm going to a few concerts. Might travel to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. That's where that battle was fought, right? My brother might go with me. That's exciting, Linda. That sounds like a big trip. Where is Gettysburg? Pennsylvania is a pretty big state. Hello, Lutra. Oasis, Stereolab, and Steve Hackett. Where is where's that shit? Where's Gettysburg? There's Harrisburg. Oh, it's near Tom. Tom's near that shit. All right. One more. You can join the Discord. We got people posting. People are posting weird photos. Crazy photos. Crazy. All right, let's see. Oh, we just did that one. The red pill. Yeah, we can do this one. All right. Anyone want to talk about something before I do the last one? Just kind of hang out. Peter just got done giving us the Gettysburg Address. It's over in the middle of the state. Took me about 4 hours to get there. I don't even remember the last concert I went to. I have no idea. I don't remember the last movie I went to. I don't remember the last concert I went to. I have no idea. I don't do that shit anymore. I just kind of sit at home and travel around. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any questions for me? What's the topic of discussion, people? Anyone know an editor? Anyone got like a young nephew or something? Like a young kid editor who doesn't need that much money? Because the cheapest editors I know are the Indians, but if anyone has some nephew, 16, 17, 18-year-old nephew who wants to make a little money, he knows how to make a little money editing videos, he can come to me, I can hook him up. I go out to a lot of concerts every year. We make a day out of it. Find a cool foodie place to eat before that, usually a brewery for beers. So you slam down like 20 beers, get real fucked up. Okay. Okay. Let's do this shit. Well, not too fucked up, just a little pregame buzz. All right, last one. We're going to be talking about the black pill. Let's do this. Your entire worldview, whether you succeed or fail in life, comes down to one colored pill. And I'm willing to bet you're taking the wrong one. See, there are 5 different pills that determine how you see reality, make decisions, and approach everything from dating to making money. Most people stumble through life never even realizing which pill they're on, wondering why they keep getting the same disappointing results. But here's the crazy part. Once I show you all 5 pills and how they work, you'll start seeing them exactly everywhere. In your friends, your coworkers, even yourself. And more importantly, you'll know exactly which one leads to the best outcomes. Hey everyone, I'm Peter Wins, the channel where we cut through all the craziness of the world. We find out what actually works in life. If you're tired of generic advice and want strategies that actually get results, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Today we're breaking down the pill philosophy that has taken the internet by storm. You've probably heard of the red pill, the blue pill, maybe the black pill. But there's actually a few more than that. We're going to talk about 5 today. And understanding them is the difference between winning and losing in today's world. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see your entire approach to life in possibly a completely new way. So where did this whole pill thing come from? Well, it all started with the Matrix movie back in '99. You remember that iconic scene? Morpheus gives Neo two choices. Take the red pill, no, take the blue pill, wake up in your bed, believe whatever you want. Everything goes the way it was going. Or you take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. But here's what's interesting. This wasn't just a cool movie moment. It became this massive internet phenomenon starting around 2005. Guys who were struggling with dating started using red pill talk to talk about the harsh truths they discovered about attraction and relationships. Then it exploded beyond just dating. People started applying it to business, money, politics, everything. And that's where we got these other pills: black pill, white pill, purple pill. Each one represents a totally different way of seeing the world. And here's the thing, whether you realize it or not, you're already following one of these philosophies. It's affecting every decision you make, so let's break it down. So we're going to start with the blue pill. This is probably where most of you have started. Blue pill thinking is basically the traditional path that society tells you to follow. Work hard in school, get good grades, go to college, get a stable job, find a nice person to settle down with, buy a house, have kids, follow the rules, and everything will work out. Now look, I'm not going to trash this completely because it does work for a lot of people. If you fit well into traditional systems, you're naturally good at playing by the rules. You might do great with blue pill thinking. Think about like the Disneyland-esque type of life where everything kind of just falls into place and works out. That's the blue pill. The problem with the blue pill is it comes when traditional rules don't apply to your situation. Like if you're trying to date in 2025 using advice from the 1950s, you're going to struggle. If you're building a business in the gig economy but thinking it's still the corporate world, you're missing opportunities. The biggest issue with pure blue pill thinking, it can leave you unprepared when life throws you curveballs. And trust me, in today's age, life is throwing curveballs like crazy. Okay, next up is the red pill. This is where things get a little spicy. Red pill thinking is about understanding the underlying forces that actually drive human behavior. It's looking past what people say they want and focusing on what they actually respond to. In dating, this might mean understanding that attraction isn't just about being nice. It's about confidence, social status, demonstrating value. In business, it's realizing that results and relationships often matter more than just putting in the hours. Here's what I'll say. Red pill awareness has helped a lot of people level up their lives. Better dating results, career advancement, more confidence. When you understand social dynamics, you can navigate them more efficiently. But this is important. Some people take red pill thinking too far. They become cynical. They start seeing manipulation everywhere. And they lose the ability to form genuine connections. The key to taking the useful insights without becoming bitter about the world. So that's the key. So red pill, think like Andrew Tate style, that whole thing, this life's a war, you got to work. That's the red pill. Next up, we'll talk about the black pill. Now we get to the black pill, and this one's heavy. Black pill thinking says that certain things, your genetics, your social class, how you look, these determine your outcomes more than the effort or attitude ever will. It's the belief that the game is so rigged from the start that self-improvement is basically pointless. You're either born with advantages or you're not, and there's not much you can do about it. Look, I'm going to be real with you. Sometimes the black pill does have a point. Genetics do matter. Being born wealthy is an advantage. Life isn't very fair. And for some people, accepting certain limitations can actually be freeing. Instead of beating yourself up over things you can't control, you focus on what you actually can change. But here's the danger. Black pill thinking can become a self-fulfilling prophecy when you believe nothing you do matters, you stop trying, and then your lack of results proves your worldview correct. I've seen too many people get stuck in black pill communities that just reinforce hopelessness. Don't let that be you. All right, next up is the white pill. Let's talk about the white pill. The white pill is like the comeback story of philosophies. White pill thinkers acknowledge that, yeah, life is harder than blue pill people admit, but it's not as hopeless as what black pill people think. You can still make positive changes through smart action. It's about focusing on what you can control while accepting what you can't. Maybe you can't change your height, but you can get in great shape. Maybe you weren't born rich, but you can still build wealth through smart decisions. White pill people tend to be solution focused. They see problems as challenges to overcome, not reasons to give up. The only downside of white pill thinking is it can have, it can become toxic positivity, like dismissing real problems we have with just think positive. Sometimes that's not helpful. Everything's gonna be fine, sometimes it's good to be a little red pill or black pill about things. But overall, white pill thinking creates better results than pure pessimism. Now we get to the last one. Now we get to the purple pill, which honestly, I think for me is the smartest approach for most people. Purple pill thinking says, why do I have to pick just one worldview? Life is complicated. Different situations need different approaches. A purple pill person might use red pill insights about social dynamics at work, but blue pill values when they're with family. They might accept black pill realities about certain limitations while still pursuing white pill self-improvement in other areas. The purple pill is about being flexible instead of dogmatic. What works in business might not work in relationships. What's true for one person might not apply to someone else. And here's why I think this might be the best approach. Purple pill people tend to get better long-term results. They're strategic when they need to be, genuine when that works better. They can connect with different types of people because they understand multiple perspectives. The only weakness, sometimes you can get stuck in analysis paralysis, seeing every side of an issue, but honestly, that's better than being rigidly wrong about everything. Now, here's something most people don't talk about. You probably won't just stick to one pill philosophy your whole life. Most people start blue pill because that's what society teaches us. Then something happens, you get rejected, you get passed over for a promotion, you realize your college degree isn't paying off, and boom, you have a red pill moment. Some people swing hard into red pill thinking, trying to figure out the real game. This can work great, but some become bitter and cynical about the situation. Then maybe you hit a little black pill phase when you realize, how much luck and genetics actually matter. It can be really dangerous if you get stuck here. And it's very easy to be black pill now of all the news, COVID, the craziness of the world, World War III. Very easy to become black pilled right now. But smart people eventually evolve toward the white pill thinking, keeping the insights but adding back some hope and positivity of the white pill. And the wisest people, they end up with the purple pill flexibility, using different approaches for different situations. The key is recognizing when you're in this journey and not getting trapped in any single worldview. So what do I actually recommend? After studying this stuff for years, I think purple pill thinking gives you the best results. Life is too complex. The most successful people I know take insights from multiple pills, depending on what they're dealing with. Use red pill awareness to understand social dynamics. Keep some blue pill values about treating people well. Accept black pill realities about limitations you can't change. And then maintain that white pill optimism about what you can improve. And most importantly, just stay flexible in this life. What works at 20 might not work at 40. What works in dating might not work in business. Adapt your approach based on the situation. All right, to conclude, so which pill describes you right now? Drop a comment, let me know. I'll read every single one. I love hearing your perspectives. If this helps you understand your own thinking better, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Peter Wins, and remember, the goal isn't to be right, it's to get results. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. And cut. All right. Yeah, I'm honestly black-pilled. I'm fucking black-pilled. All right. I started reading the red pill like fucking 2013. It used to be on Reddit, the red pill, and it got banned. It got banned because I don't know, I was getting too crazy. It was mostly about like male dating. You got to hit the gym, bro. But they banned it. Reddit used to be a crazy site. It had everything. Now it has nothing, basically. All right, and that's a wrap on the pills. We did 3 videos today. Cool. All right, you guys, I think we're going to end the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you learned something today as we talk about health, psychology, mental health, physical health, all that stuff. So we should do a few more tomorrow. Let's talk about some drugs and alcohol ones tomorrow. We'll get real angry. We'll get real pissed off about the situation. You got to get angry in this world. Bye, Lutra. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, Topspin. Bye, Patrick Francis. Bye, Jeff Anderson. Linda says, have a great sleep. Thank you. Thank you, and good night.